Kubor nakaslem jong Nongsan Hima.
Chief Election Commissioner ka Election Commission of India Rajiv Kumar hene ka singi ha ka jingya kundu bat kilat pathai khobor hanong ba shulong ulaya thu abaya de ba ka jingpun khre ek election ka banwan hakini ki ar singi bikinong yalam ka Election Commission of India ki don ha ka jilla klaya kundu ikinong yalam jong ki sengsan parthai na ka jilla ya ki officer jong ka sarkar jilla kunthop yu Chief Secretary u DGP bat ki wei ha ka ba kilaya kren halor ka jingya bet jong ka election bat banat na kanu jing sha panthod Hakani kasni ukumar laya thu habaya de baka Jingdon ki Nongthep vote ha kajilla Kynthei bat Shynrang ha ka baw laong baki Kynthei ki khambun bani ki Shynrang ulaya thu ru baki don hadu hanyo hajar south pa anyo pu prangot ki brie ki baduna department arpu ar hajar praspa sanpu prangot ki badon Yakarta ka ba prapos nam shajrong arspa khandai phongot ki balakanjo ya ka shispa snem ki badai ki Nongthep vote jang kajilla Meghalaya
I, through you, express my greetings to the Meghalaya residents and urge them to participate proactively in the forthcoming elections in a true festive mood. Meghalaya is a peaceful state and elections are always held in the environment of a festival of democracy. So we welcome and we urge everybody through you to participate with full enthusiasm in the elections. In these 2 days, friends, we first met with all the political parties, all the national parties, regional parties, state parties, so that we can get their views, their comments, their suggestions, their inputs, their apprehensions if any. Thereafter, we have met all the district magistrates, SSPs, and all the state officials. Thereafter, all the central agencies, which I will detail later, and then the chief secretaries and DGs of the state, along with the officials. So, to just give you an overview, the population of the state, as you all know, is 29,66,889, with male and female population being almost equal. There are 12 districts where we have to conduct the elections. And in terms of the overview of the elections, the term of the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly is up to 15th March 2023. So we have to complete the entire process before that. The male, if you look at the general constituencies, there are 5 and 55 are reserved for STs. And the male and female population and the voters ratio, female outnumber the male here in the state. So 10,92,326 female voters in the state. We also have taken on ourselves to earmark the persons with disabilities into our electoral roll, and there are 7,478 PWD voters. We are also very happy to report to you that all over the country and so in Meghalaya, we are marking all our voters who are 80 plus, and Meghalaya has in our electoral rolls 22,658 electors who are 80 plus, and we are very happy to also tell you 290 amongst them are 100 plus. So our respects to them. They have been always participating in the elections, and it's because of them that we are here in this shape of the democracy. We have written from the Commission individually to all of them, to facilitate them and to pay our respects to them. And friends, we are focusing in the electoral rolls on inclusion of everybody. And the 18 to 19 years voters are also 81,443. Gender ratio is very happily 1022 in the state here. And EP ratio after this SSR is increased from 630 to 645 in the final rule, which again is a sign of the participation and more inclusion. This was during the SSR it happened. Another interesting thing we have started is that we are trying that after the 17 years, if somebody is completed, we give them an option to give an advance application to us. So we'll keep it with ourselves, and whenever they turn 18, we'll make them voters. This is to start inculcating the democratic values and ethos right from the beginning. And you will be happy to know that 950 youth of 17 plus age have registered with us in advance. So this is again a happy situation that people of the younger age are coming forward. Since 81,443 are 18 to 19 years, and I would request that when we have taken efforts to enroll them, they also convert this thing from roll to poll. They also should come and vote in the elections which are coming. To give you an overview of the polling stations and the preparations which we have made, the number of polling stations in the state is 3,482 with around 620 voters average, and predominantly rural settings, 3,157 being in the rural areas. Friends will manage 120 booths with women, all women staff, polling officers, presiding officers. Even the police and the police personnel would be women. So this is again a effort which Commission is making all India to make women empowerment our theme. And similarly, this time, as the youth we are registering, we have also started setting the booths which are managed only by youth. Means who have been into the government service just recently, we are picking up, and there are 60 booths which will be managed by our young employees, so as to give them the pleasure and the privilege of managing the booth and conducting the elections. And 50% of the polling stations, that's close to 17,041, would be webcast. We'll make arrangements that there are webcasting is done from those polling stations. Next, if we come to the facilities which we have directed the district officials to make available, there would be toilets. These are the minimum facilities which would be available at each polling station. Toilets, drinking water, electricity, ramps for the PWD friends and the voters, and there would also be a voter facilitation desk which the PWDs or our senior citizens or anybody who wants to take help can take help. I'll mention about the digital part of it in the next slide. Next, for an enhanced voter experience, there would be 60 model polling stations also, and which would be green initiative of the Commission, so that we are environment friendly. And as I mentioned, there would be women-centric, all women managed booths, which are on the right side. There would be 122. Next, 60 PS, as I mentioned, would look like this. They will welcome you, and the PWDs at some of the identified places will have booths, which will be all managed by persons with disabilities. They are also. This is also our way of giving them honor and saying that they are fully empowered, they can handle as anybody else can handle. Strict directions have been given that AMF, assured minimum facility, should be on all booths and no violation of this. Senior citizens, as I mentioned, have an option which Commission is giving to, if they do not want for any reason to vote to the polling station, the Commission will go to their houses. So there is a provision of Form 12D which they can file, which will be open after 5 days of the nomination. The senior citizens can register. Our experience is that many of them want to come to the polling station because they want to also participate in the festival of democracy. But if they decide, for some reason, our parties will go home and take their vote. And how would we ensure the secrecy of the vote? The team will go. The political agents of the political parties or candidates would also be allowed to go with them, so that nobody can influence the vote of the senior citizens. This will be videographed also, and this will be communicated in advance as to when the parties will go and pick up the votes. So this is a facility which we have extended, and many states in recently held elections have utilized this. But experience is that many wants to come to the polling station itself. Form 12D would be available to them and also to the persons with disabilities. If they want to vote from their home, that also is possible. And as I mentioned, there are 7,400 PWDs. The next slide. There are 7,478 persons with disabilities. They also will have full facility at the booth. And there is a digital platform, there is a PWD app which we call Saksham app. They can download it and in advance book any facilitation they want from us. Even if they want a volunteer to help them at the polling station, they want a wheelchair, all that can be booked in advance. So this is, I would request all the PWD friends, if they want to download this app, they would feel empowered to ask for any facilitation from us. We also have, there is a band here, very famous band which you all might have heard, Light After Dark, which we call it, which are performing, and they are also our kind of ambassadors for awareness amongst the persons with disabilities. If we come to the youth, just to give you a glimpse of some of the polling stations would look like this. We are making special efforts. There would be a double bridge one, there would be a makeshift bamboo bridge, there would be 2 in Riverine polling stations. So these are just samples. We are trying to make the experience of the polling station as friendly, as easy as possible for the voters. To target the urban and youth apathy, which is there in some parts, some people think that why go and vote, which is so in urban areas and also amongst youth. So, Commission and CEO Meghalaya has identified 5 lowest turnout booths in every constituency, and that comes to 300 booths. So all district election officers under the guidance of CEO are making all efforts to understand why there was a low voting last time in those 300 booths. So this is a targeted intervention which one is making, and also making targeted intervention through the sweep for women, for youth, for PWDs, for senior citizens. So I would request through you again to all our young voters to please come and participate in the democracy festival. If we are also committed to conduct free, fair, transparent and inducement-free election. For this, while we have directed to everybody, and what we have directed I'll tell you just now, but before that, we are using technology to empower the citizens. So there is an app called See Vigil. Citizens, be vigilant. If you want to make any complaint to the Election Commission, just download this app and you can take a picture, upload it. If something wrong is happening, if cash is distributed, you can just take a picture and just upload this. This is your complaint. If you want to write something, you can write, and text also you can give us a complaint. And wherever you are, wherever the complainant is, from his latitude and longitude will be captured automatically, so that we know the location where this is happening. And in 100 minutes, our teams would reach, within 100 minutes maximum, teams would reach, check it, and come back to the complainant that this is what is the status. Yes, your complaint was right, it has been tackled, or it was partially right, or it was not right. Whatever action is taken would just be reported back. And I must tell you that in all over the country, in the recently held elections over the last 2 years or so, people are making use of it. And it is giving us a lot of advantage in tackling problems, defacements, cash distribution, liquor distribution, fights, whatever, wrong time campaigning outside the fixed timings, all this people are, vigilant citizens are reporting, voters are reporting, and we are taking action. So I would request to you that the empowered and informed voters of Meghalaya, who they are, also use this as much as they can. There are other IT applications which can be used. There is a voter helpline which you can use to find out the location of your booths and others. There is a Saksham app which I have already mentioned. There is also the Suvidha app for the candidates and political parties. They can also apply for whatever facilitation they want in terms of grounds or in terms of permissions. That also is available to them. Friends, the next important point is about the involvement of the political parties at every stage of the election process and of the media as well. The hallmark of the election which we ensure is that every action of ours is in a transparent mode. And secondly, we make disclosures of whatever is happening. So the political parties are involved at every stage of updation of electoral rolls. There are standing committee meetings, weekly and even earlier, with the district, in every district, in constituencies. Whenever the FLC is done and the commissioning of the machines is done, symbols are loaded, the political parties remain there. Mock polls, storage of the transports, EVMs, booth level agents, polling agents. What one is trying to tell you is that every stage, as I mentioned, when the voting takes place through postal ballot at the homes of the senior citizens of PWDs, that time also all political parties agents can remain present and remain present. So that entire process is transparent and absolutely for everybody to see. Now, if any candidate has a criminal background, the voters need to know this so that they can make informed choices. So this particular application, Know Your Candidate, KYC, allows the voters to see the criminal background of any candidate. Commission is mandated that each candidate, if he has a criminal background, must publish it in newspapers 3 times prominently, also in news channels, that these are the cases against me, and then so that the voter can take an informed choice. If he wants to still vote, that is the voter's choice. Our job is to put it in public domain, publicize it as much as possible, and then the political parties who have given them tickets must also explain, must also give it in newspapers, and also give a justification as to why they have selected a person with a criminal background. Was it so difficult to get a person without the criminal background in that particular constituency? That also the political parties need to publish, and this application, voters can know what is the ground, what are the charges. We had detailed meetings with the enforcement agencies, the state police, excise, GST, revenue intelligence, CISF, income tax, enforcement directorate, border security force, airport authorities, Reserve Bank of India, narcotics bureau, railways. Why? The purpose behind this was that they all come together and create a situation and a environment which ensures that elections are inducement free. There is no scope for the freebies to be distributed, the cash to move from one place to another or to be distributed, drugs, which is a very, very serious issue, is not transited from here or not consumed here. So we have given directions to everybody, and they will be on their job very strictly. They'll have checkposts at all the interstate and international borders manned by also the paramilitary forces wherever necessary. They will have CCTV cameras there. The Narcotics Bureau will have close look at the route which is used for the transit. Air Intelligence Unit will keep a check on all the planes or the choppers coming into the state or going out of the state. This is in addition to the scheduled commercial flights. If any chartered flight is coming or if any helicopter is coming to the state, the mechanisms are being put by these agencies in place that they come to know of it in advance, and there are standard protocols to do the checking of those things also, so that there's nothing irregular or illegal which comes into the state to influence the elections or to disturb the level playing field at any stage. The GST and the CBIC would keep a watch on the warehouses so that nothing is stocked there for distribution at the time of elections or before the election. All these directions have been given, and we are sure, we are committed that it is peaceful, it is transparent, and it is inducement free. Friends, with the help of all of you, this is what we wanted to convey. And also, media has always been Commission's very close ally, because you are the eyes and ears. It's through you that we hear what is happening in the state, and it is only through you that we communicate to the voters. So today, we would like to communicate through you to the voters of Meghalaya that they come in large numbers, vote, youth, young, male, female, PWDs, old alike, and also use our applications to tell us vigilantly if there is anything which is happening against the instructions or against the law.